astral projection and facing your darkness. When I read the comments on the videos where I guide people into an astral projection experience, I come across this theme of fear around demons, entities, around leaving your body and not being able to return. This is what I would call darkness. Darkness comes from fear, the feeling of fear. Whenever we grow as a being, whenever we expand ourselves outside of our comfort zone, we need to face our shadows. We need to face the boundaries and fences that kept us inside of our comfort zone before we can step outside of it. The same holds true for astral projection. If you never had these experiences and if you want to move into them, you will come across different roadblocks, different realizations that you have to integrate. I talk about these roadblocks in more detail in my guide. But in this video I just want to make very clear the idea that in order to move forward, we need to face our darkness. In the egoic way of being, our reaction when we face our shadow is to look away, to run away from it, to ignore it, to avoid it. And the more conscious we become, the less likely it will be that these strategies are still working. Slowly, we don't have any other option than to look what is there. What have we been running from in the past? Likewise, in astral projection, these things that we encounter, maybe feelings or states that we move into, they might trigger fear in us. And just want to say that it's okay if that happens. That is part of the process. Here I want to make clear that I don't want you to seek out darkness. I don't think that is a good strategy. But when darkness arises naturally, when you come across darkness, I wouldn't suggest looking away, but facing it. This is one saying, you are the light of the world. Your consciousness, your looking, is what is the light of the world, what has the capability to transform things. When you do a Vipassana retreat, it becomes very clear to you that wherever your consciousness, wherever your attention falls, something starts to happen. Blocks start to dissolve. And tension starts to open up. Your consciousness has the power to transform things. When I was younger, when I was a kid, this world was very overwhelming for me. All the energies, all the people running around with their stories, and so my strategy at the time was to look away, to kind of move inward, and so that because I wasn't capable to hold all these different impressions. But the older I get and the more conscious and developed I become, the more capable I am to hold these different expressions of reality in my consciousness without reacting to them, to just let them be as they are. And what you discover is that if you do so, they don't leave a mark. What creates the problems in you is if you close yourself off. If you react and try to move away, then you move deeper into fear. Likewise, in consciousness, whenever you face these experiences that are difficult, that are triggering fear in you, slowly try to come to a place where you can start to look what is actually there, where you can start to move your attention towards the things you actually want to move it away from. For that, you first have to come out of your reactive mode. And then slowly over time, you can start to let it be, let it happen. And whenever I did that in my experiences, I always discovered that nothing bad happens to me. But you have to discover that for yourself and your own experience, because that is the only way to learn. Talking is a good way of guiding you, but through experience and through the changes in your being, that is the deep change that is taking place, which is changing who you are fundamentally. So face your darkness. And what you also will discover is that the more light there is inside of you, the less darkness there will be. And only the darkness in yourself allows the darkness outside of yourself to have access to you. So in the video about sleep paralysis, I put it that way, that these entities, they only have access to you towards the shadow or the darkness that is still inside of your body. So they, in a sense, help you to see what is still unconscious inside of you. We still have to look and to feel. The last thing I want to share in this video is, again, the idea of all is mind and oneness, where if you hold this perspective, nothing that you encounter is not a part of yourself. So whenever something, or whenever you have a worldview where you are this separate being, it becomes much more likely that you will react in a hostile, fearful manner towards something that is happening. And the more you open up, the more you move into the perspective of oneness, the more you can embrace all the experiences that come across your way. So use astral projection as an arena to practice embracing what is happening. In my guide, I will talk more in detail about the meditative practice that you can practice while you're projecting astrally. And this practice will then allow you to embrace what is happening, because you're not focused on the details, the things that are happening. You're focused on your sense of self. And that is a great tool for transformation. So face your darkness. Embrace discomfort and see what it does to you.